Welcome to episode 7 of Catan Public Radio. My name is Monica. If you know me from social media, you know me as Anthissa21, or from Pokemon Go, you know me simply as Anthissa. I would like to start off by offering my apologies as we go into this episode. I was supposed to have this episode out last week. Unfortunately, due to election stress here in the United States, I was unable to get that accomplished. Please forgive me. I will try to be better about it next time. It was the bi-weekly point. Unfortunately, chaos ensued. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but here we are. All right. All the news and updates. Since we last had our little communications, Catan World Explorers has had a Zoom webinar to kind of give information about the Golden Settlement, what used to be the personal settlement, and information about that, reading through the community forums and getting some information on that. Basically, they're going to have a Discord channel where you can kind of discuss information as well. So I will probably pop over in there as well, kind of get some news and get that flowing, get you guys that kind of information as well. If more news comes down the pipeline, this may become a once weekly episode instead of a bi-weekly episode. So this will be interesting, especially given that they are rolling out social media stuff. Now, I was not able to jump in on the webinar about the Golden Settlements, but from what I've seen, basically nothing's really changing about that. So, who knows? Basically, I think they're just changing the name. I'm not entirely sure. All right, that's that. So, I will get into the Catan World Explorers Discord and see if I can get you guys extra information from that. And like I mentioned earlier, the social media team for the game is starting to roll out some interesting stuff. They have teamed up with Giphy to start releasing GIFs based on the game, as well as creating virtual backgrounds for your Zoom calls and whatever else, your work from home stuff. Keep in mind, with the social media stuff rolling out, this is not the same team that is working on programming the game, debugging it, coding it, creating it, doing the art in the game, so on and so forth. So if you're worried about, well, why aren't they working on bugs? Why aren't they getting the game ready? They are. This is an entirely different team from the teams that are building the game. They're working on putting together the social media aspects. Now, for me, I see this as a huge step in the direction of a global launch. Dominic, the community manager, is saying, we'll release the game when it's ready. There is no solid update as to when the game is going to be ready or when we're going to get a launch. But I have a feeling it will probably be around the end of the year, if not the beginning of next year. I know I said earlier we could possibly look at an end of November launch because that's what we got for Harry Potter Wizards Unite. However, I'm not entirely sure I'm going to hold myself to that date. I do think we will get an early 2021 launch at least. So we'll see what happens with that. And putting out social media things like GIFs and video backgrounds, I think is a big step towards that direction, because now if you're in one of the beta test countries and you have this background and you're talking with somebody who's not from from a beta test country or your country in general, say you're chatting with someone like me in the US, I'm going to be curious about this new backdrop that you've got. Hey, what is Catan World Explorers? This to me looks like a grassroots way of doing promotion without really paying for it. Word of mouth is the far and away the most profitable form of promotion you can get. That's why certain bands and music groups will mobilize their fans as promotional marketing in a way by calling them like street teams and stuff, and give them certain free promotional materials that they can keep as like a keepsake for themselves, with the hopes that they will pass those things out and get the word out. Well, this means that the people who are beta testing Catan World Explorers are now becoming the quote-unquote street team for the game, by getting these promotional materials that they can kind of keep and use themselves while getting the word out about the game. However, in getting the word out about the game, we don't have a launch date yet. So basically, it's like soon. It'll be out soon. It's a great game. I love it. I enjoy it. But it's not going to be out yet for a minute. I think with having these materials out, we're getting closer to a launch date being available at some time. If you're interested in the pre-registration, you can go to the website CatanWorldExplorers.com and get yourself set up for the pre-registration. Now, the reason why they have to do it through a website as opposed to doing it on the app stores is because I think it's the Google Play app has this limitation on it where you can set something up for pre-order, but it has to be available within 90 days of when the pre-order is launched. And the way I see it right now, they can't commit to that 90-day window at this point in time, so they're doing the website pre-registration instead. It's all good information, and it's all good news, and it's all positive steps in the right direction to the global launch. So within a window of the next 3 or 4 months, I see us getting the game at least. Hopefully, I'm not going to double down on that just yet. I'm, again, still ear to the ground listening for news and information. Other than that, the other huge news that they've had is the Exploration Weekend. Now, again, this should have been out last week or the week before, so I am behind on all of that. The Exploration Weekend ran from October 30th to November 2nd. We're obviously past that time. And explorers will receive bonus rewards for discovering new settlements and resource centers. When you discover them, you will be guaranteed to collect a building card. So that's really awesome bonuses they're giving for that. The way I see this is this basically works like a special raid weekend in Pokemon Go, where you get the chance at certain legendary Pokemon and they're shiny or something like that. So this seems to me to be a special weekend kind of event. I don't see it being a monthly ordeal, but the fact that we have this now is a great idea. Additionally, you'll be able to purchase boosts for much less gold than usual, so you're getting a discount on buying things. Plus, you can combine boosts to maximize efficiency and collect free boost bundles, so on and so forth. There aren't really any comments, so I can't tell you what people thought about the weekend, so that would be an interesting thing to kind of look up. Who knows? And that was pretty much it for 3 small things, for 3 weeks of not giving you guys information. And it's not too bad. We're getting information. It's a little bit slow, but it's good information and it's good to know information. Hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, we'll get some more stuff going for all of that. And that is going to do it for information this month. Now I'm going to do a little thing that I do for Battle Academy podcast that I call shameless self-promotion. Right now, while we're in bi-weekly stuff, I'm going to try and keep this stuff to a minimum. But once the game gets going, it's going to be a regular feature that'll come after breaks and everything. Please forgive me if this isn't really your thing. I'd like to say, at least before I start into this little spiel, that just the fact that you're listening to this show and downloading it, what have you, that means more than anything else at this moment, because I honestly thought I wasn't going to get any viewers, listeners, what have you, at all. So the fact that you're listening to this, if that's all the support you can provide, that is more than enough, and I truly appreciate it. All right, here we go. Here's the spiel. This podcast is a part of the Pegasus Podcast and Gaming Network, with its sister podcast, the Battle Academy Podcast, and of course my Twitch show streams that I am going to do regularly on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings, Central Time. And you can listen to this podcast on just about any podcast streaming service, Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts. If you're listening there, be sure to give me a rating and a review. I would greatly appreciate it. If you're listening to YouTube, I try to keep this posted regularly as much as I can. I sometimes tend to fall behind, and I will try and get into doing regular videos on YouTube as time allows. If you're listening there, Do me a favor, hit like and subscribe, and ring the little notification bell. That'll let you know when a new episode of the show has gone live and is able to be listened to. And it'd mean a lot to me. Thank you for that. You can hit me up on social media if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or constructive criticism. That social media is Twitter, Anthissa21, Instagram, Anthissa.21. The dot is important. Or you can reach out to me through email, anerdblog@gmail.com. Or you can connect to me on the newly formed Discord channel for Pegasus Podcast and Gaming. I do intend to have links for that set up on Twitter and Instagram as soon as I can. And you can also hang out with me on Twitch when I do my games. Like I said, Monday, Wednesday, Friday evenings, Central Standard Time. I'll try to be live by 9, 10 o'clock if I can. And of course, if you want to support me in more ways than just watching, if you're interested, the Patreon for Pegasus Podcast and Gaming is now live. For just $1, you can join the specialty Patreon Discord channel, where you can chat with other Patreons. If you donate enough and get to a certain point, you can become a contributor and help develop polls and the weekly AR wallpaper photo that I'm going to do. Right now, it's mostly Pokemon Go, and this week's wallpaper is actually now live, and it is a very adorable shot of Vulpix playing in fall leaves. So if you want to check that out, if you're Pokemon savvy and you know what Vulpix is, she's a very happy little foxy girl, and I love her bits. Definitely worth checking that out, hopefully. I am also considering setting up a coffee account, Buy Me a Coffee if you've ever heard of that, to do AR wallpaper commissions for like $2 to $3, something that I'm kind of interested in doing. I love playing around with those things. I may even go so far as to do like logo development and stuff. I don't know. There's a lot of things up in the air with what I want to do with all of that. But again, as I stated earlier, just the fact that you're listening to the show is more than enough support, and it is truly and greatly appreciated. That's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me. Please forgive me for the break that happened that was not supposed to happen. And I hope you're having a wonderful time of day it is wherever you're at. Let us have some good news, new news in the next couple of weeks. And I will see you all then.